Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Timberborn, episode 9, flooding. And as the title suggests, I should not be allowed to look after beavers after this mistake that's coming up in this episode. It's an interesting one. Before we get into that, let's do a quick recap on what we're doing here. This is a hard run of Timberborn, 5 to 100 days of nice weather, 5 to 130 days of bad tide and drought. And we are only allowed to take water from this pond. We can't take it from anywhere else. We can't use any of the aquifers. We can turn off the birthing pods, but once they all die of starvation, that is it. We cannot sacrifice them to fake districts. And so far that's gone pretty well for us, but I guess we have been lucky with the droughts. I don't think we've had one over 50 days yet, but saying that, when they have happened, all of the water in reservoir 1 and 2 have drained, and that kind of leads us on to the future. But before we get there, let's just do a quick tour of what's going on. So we started with this colony at the bottom, and this is where it all began, around our only source of water. And quickly we built reservoir 1 to hold water and upgraded it to 6 pumps, and then built reservoir 2, which you can see behind it. But as this video shows, it's day 11 and the water isn't even up to the pumps. Now, those pumps need a lot of power. In fact, our whole colony needs a lot of power, which led us on to creating those huge water wheels powered by the badwater. And now we're kind of thinking to ourselves, right, well, we do need to store more water. We are going to have to get some more water source. But then we started to build this mammoth project. This is reservoir 3, and this is going to fill the back colonies for the farming and for the metal, but it's going to take a long time. That is a lot of wood. And I come to realize in this episode, I need to build a lot more tree farming places. I mean, we need more foresters, we need more woodcutters. We don't stand a chance of that. But we really don't stand a chance of our wind condition of getting our beavers out there without metal. And the only place that we've been trying to get metal is out of our metal colony, which is in the back right. So that's the district we've really been trying to get online, but with all the droughts and all of my errors and mistakes that have nearly killed these beavers, we really dropped down in a previous episode. I don't really feel like I'm doing a great job with these guys so far. But let's go and take a look at that metal district over here. So this is our metal district, and we've built this place to be self-sufficient. It will have water supplied by the large reservoir. It's got its own food. It's going to have its own wood. And more importantly, it's got everything it needs to make the metal. It's going to have pine trees to make resin for the treated planks. Obviously, it's going to have wood to make the planks. But it's also got extract. In the previous episode, we built an underground area which is going to take bad water. It's going to create extract, which then makes that mine as efficient as possible. So now we've done all of that, let's look at the project for this episode. I need water. I need to store water. And in storing the water, you don't want to build it on good, valuable land. And I've always built these huge water processing plants. More on that in a minute. Let's see the mistake. I don't realize I've done this. And I go on building for another 4 minutes. Here we go. See if you spotted it. It's funny watching this video back now because I can see everything below where I'm working flood. Everything has just stopped working. You can see a lovely little hole there, look, on the bottom of the screen. That's there to irrigate the land around the crater. And I didn't know I'd done that. And it's funny watching this video back I was just so confused. If you watch the full video of this, I'm so confused when I realise in about 4 minutes' time what's actually happened. So we'll get to that later. Let's focus on what we're trying to do here. And we're trying to use the dead space of the reservoir to have water storage. And what I like to do is build these really large platforms over the reservoirs, and on them we have water storage, and there are pumping stations, and we set them to supply. What I love about this game is the developers have put a lot of thought into how all of this works to get, how all of this comes together. So you build a water storage area, but that water storage area can supply, it can maintain, it can hold. You can even empty it, or you can just store water in there if you don't want the beavers taking from it. It gives you a lot of options on how you want to manage the water within the game, and it's just, everything about this game is just well thought out and well put together. So I've made the metal platforms, and we're now putting the water butts in and wait for the penny to drop. When I finally work out, I copy it and I go, oh, I come out of building mode and I basically just see, I panic look and I actually press escape because I wanted to pause it. I actually see the devastation this flood has done. It has rendered all of the factories useless, all of the storage facilities useless. I'm trying to work out, did the dynamite I explode in that reservoir 3 cause a massive hole? But it wouldn't have done this. And I have to press play to work out where all the water is flowing out of, but that whole crater is flooded. Nothing works, they can't get the plants, they can't plant trees, they can't use the storage, all the factories are closed down. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, hold on, I can find the hole, and I can fix the hole, but are they going to bring the materials to plug it up? Well, this is me trying to work out where that hole is. I'm going, okay, I'm going the irrigation fields. It comes out there. Is there a hole there? Where is it? And as I go down the levels, I work it out. This tunnel I built for irrigation, but I didn't blow the last bits of rock because I wanted to obviously build a sluice gate, and I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten that was needed, so the beavers had done their work. I blew that dynamite out, and for the last 5-6 minutes, all of the water that I'm saving has gone. And we're on day, well, it's quite small on mine at this moment, but I think we're on day 26. I've set this 5 to 100 days. I could be hit by a 130-day maximum drought at any point. So this is again another civilization killer, and I block it off as quickly as I possibly can. And at this point, I don't know if the beavers are going to bring wood to this. Thankfully they did, and they blocked that hole up, and we just put it down to fate that drought isn't going to come anytime soon, and we carry on. I really shouldn't be responsible for looking after beavers. There's another game I play called Against the Storm, and I'm as equally as useless on that as I seem to be on this game. But regardless, we go back to what we were doing, and that's focusing on, if I survive this, we need water storage. And we carry on doing the same design of the water butts, and then go into putting together the water pumping stations, which come along with this whole block. What I hope in the future is we can get robots, and these pumping stations will just run 24/7 and just keep supplying water here permanently. Obviously, until there's too many beavers where they all die because there's not enough water to go around. And knowing how I'm doing at the moment, that's going to come from me putting another hole in a dam at some point. And water is so valuable on this. Anyone that plays this game without it, you're dead. And yeah, that's a pretty obvious statement, but I don't seem to learn from my mistakes. I think this is now the second time I've caused a breach in the reservoir for both really stupid reasons, but I guess it keeps it interesting. At this point, everything's still flooded. I'm relying, and thankfully have those 6 pumps, which are pumping all of that water out of the crater. If I was on 2, there's no way it would still be flooded when the drought came. It's only because I've got 6 that it pumped all that water out within 10 days. You can see here, It's pretty much nearly gone. In fact, it just dropped another level there. So with that done, let's celebrate something that is exciting, the birth of a new district. We were finally able to create the new district of, here comes a really good name, Metal for now. Any ideas on an inventive name for this? Please let me know, and we'll change the name of this, but I've just named it Metal for now. And it has everything in order for the beavers to deliver. It's got a water butt, so the beavers from Pineappleton can bring water to Metal, and Metal can now start exporting iron and metal back to Pineappleton. So we've got a new district that does need to look after itself. At the moment, there is no water in it, there is no plants in it, and it is completely reliant on resources still being brought in by Pineappleton. I don't know when water's going to be brought here. I'm thinking I might create a temporary pumping solution to bring water here before Reservoir 3 gets built, because we do need more trees. We need a lot of trees. You guys saw how big that reservoir is, and it's going to need a lot of trees in order to be able to make that work. So there we are. That was another crazy episode. If you want to see the full hour-long playthrough, please go to the channel and you will see a long playthrough of this. There is so much more content on why we're doing the things we do, the paths, working on the power plant. We work on the new power chain that's doing Reservoir 1, so we can get rid of that messy power chain. We are working on the food district. Lots kind of going on a long video, but until then, take care of yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.